In the early hours of a frigid January morning in 2019, Graham Whelan, an infamous figure in Ireland's criminal underworld, was rudely awakened from his slumber in a lavish penthouse suite at Dublin's Intercontinental Hotel. Whelan, known by his street moniker, The Wig, had been indulging in a luxurious three-night stay, shelling out over €2,100 for the privilege of occupying room 342, complete with its own outdoor living space. Unbeknownst to Whelan, his opulent respite was about to come to an abrupt end. Law enforcement officers burst into his suite, catching him off guard amidst a collection of illegal substances, cocaine and cannabis, along with some high-value items. A €28,000 Audemars Piguet Royal Oak timepiece and €1,275 in cash. When confronted by the authorities, Whelan's response was as brazen as it was crude. He quipped that the money had been retrieved from an intimate bodily location, colloquially referred to as his Swiss roll, and told the officers they were welcome to keep it. In a display of bravado, he went on to proclaim his dangerous criminal status, even pointing out one of the officers present, claiming, "Ask that fella there, he locked me up," a clear reference to a previous encounter with law enforcement. Whelan's notoriety in Ireland's criminal landscape stretches back many years. He's long been associated with the Byrne organised crime syndicate and is considered a high-ranking member of the infamous Kinahan Cartel. His close ties to other notorious figures such as Thomas Bomber Kavanagh, Fat Freddy Thompson, and the late David Byrne have cemented his position as a major player in Ireland's underworld. Despite his criminal past, Whelan now asserts that he's turned over a new leaf, adding an intriguing twist to his story. He seems to be in a relationship with the sister of renowned MMA fighter, Conor McGregor. Originating from Clonard Road in Crumlin, Whelan earned his peculiar nickname, The Wig, due to a distinctive haircut he sported in his teenage years. For over 2 decades, he's been a central figure in organised crime. However, recent years have brought significant personal tragedies. In 2020, Whelan's wife passed away, leaving him to care for their 4 young children. The following year, he suffered another blow when his close associate and fellow Kinahan Cartel member, Philip Griffiths, took his own life. Whelan's criminal career began in earnest back in March 2000. At the tender age of 17, he was caught up in a major drug bust at a Dublin hotel. Law enforcement uncovered a substantial drug operation, seizing €1.6 million worth of ecstasy and cocaine. Whelan, along with Griffiths and another young man named Declan Gavin, were arrested in the midst of processing the drugs. During his arrest, the young Whelan displayed a cocky attitude, boasting to the guards that he could easily handle a decade-long prison sentence. In the aftermath of the bust, only Gavin was released without charges, sparking suspicions within their criminal circle about his loyalty and potential cooperation with authorities. This incident marked the beginning of the infamous Crumlin-Drimnagh Feud, which split the gang into 2 rival factions, one led by Fat Freddy Thompson and the other by Brian Rattigan. Tragically, Gavin, who was closely associated with Thompson, was fatally stabbed just days before his trial related to the hotel bust was set to begin. Despite their youth, both Griffiths and Whelan received substantial prison sentences. Whelan, who remained loyal to Thompson's faction, was handed a 6-year term. Upon their release in the mid-2000s, both men continued their involvement in organised crime. Whelan fostered close relationships with David Byrne and Freddy Thompson, who had by then become major figures in Ireland's criminal landscape. In 2007, Whelan and Byrne found themselves in police custody in connection with the 2006 murder of hitman Gary Bryan, a killing linked to the ongoing feud. Bryan had been involved in the shooting of Paul Warren in 2004, which was attributed to the Rattigan faction. In retaliation, Bryan was gunned down by Thompson's group. Whelan had been observed driving past the house of Bryan's mother-in-law shortly before the shooting occurred. Bryan had intended to leave the area, but was fatally shot before he could make his escape. Investigators uncovered a connection between a mobile phone registered to a relative of Byrne and Whelan, showing frequent communication between the two on the day of Brian's murder. While in custody, Byrne attempted to pass newspapers to Whelan through the guards. Upon inspection, authorities discovered a note from Byrne warning, "Loose lips sink ships." Despite their arrest, both men were eventually released without charges. Byrne would later meet a violent end during the notorious Regency Hotel attack in 2016. As the years passed, Whelan continued to climb the ranks of the criminal underworld. He played a significant role in managing the cartel's drug distribution network in South Dublin and collaborated with criminal groups across Ireland, including gangs in Limerick. His rising prominence made him a target for law enforcement under anti-gang legislation, introduced over a decade ago. Authorities compiled a comprehensive file on Whelan, intending to present it to the Director of Public Prosecutions in hopes of bringing charges against him under the new legislation. This action was prompted by the arrest of one of Whelan's associates, who was caught carrying cash in 2009. A subsequent raid uncovered a list detailing names and amounts paid, with numerous references to Whelan's alias, the Wig. However, the DPP ultimately decided not to press charges. Feeling the heat from law enforcement, Whelan relocated to the UK in 2011. There, he aligned himself with Thomas "Bomber" Kavanagh, a senior figure in the Kinahan Cartel and brother-in-law to David and Liam Byrne. Kavanagh had left Ireland years earlier and had risen to become the head of the Kinahan Cartel's UK operations. Following his move to the UK, Whelan took charge of significant drug operations spanning Europe, Ireland, and Britain. He frequently travelled to Spain and the Netherlands during this period. In 2016, Whelan was involved in a violent altercation in Spain, resulting in a conviction for grievous bodily harm. He received a 2-year suspended sentence for this offence. Despite his relocation, Whelan made regular trips back to Ireland in the years leading up to his most recent incarceration. He was suspected of overseeing the cartel's drug operations in the country during these visits. In November 2021, Whelan was sentenced to prison for the Intercontinental hotel room incident. He received a 3-year sentence, with the final 18 months suspended for money laundering offences, including possession of the €28,000 watch. In the wake of Whelan's 2019 hotel arrest, law enforcement agencies conducted a major operation targeting nearly 20 homes and businesses linked to him. During these searches, documents were discovered suggesting Whelan owned property in the UK, with records indicating ongoing mortgage payments being transferred to a vulture fund. This investigation resulted in the state seizing €75,000 from Whelan, which was deemed to be proceeds of criminal activities. It was later revealed that at the time of his arrest, Whelan had been in possession of a drug-related debt list and an EncroChat phone. This discovery occurred 18 months before Dutch and French authorities successfully hacked the EncroChat network, leading to widespread arrests across Europe. In July 2021, Whelan entered a guilty plea to charges of participating in the operations of an organized crime gang through money laundering activities. He also admitted to possessing over €1,200 in cash and the Audemars Piguet watch, both of which were obtained through criminal means. Furthermore, Whelan confessed to spending €2,140 on the luxurious 3-night hotel stay, knowing or believing that the funds used were proceeds of criminal activities. During his time behind bars, Whelan received several visits from Aoife McGregor, sister of the famous MMA fighter Conor McGregor. The two had developed a close friendship following the breakdown of Aoife's marriage. Whelan was released from Mountjoy Prison in December 2022, and the pair continued to see each other after his release. Whelan's connection to the McGregor family extends beyond his relationship with Aoife McGregor. He had previously been photographed with Conor McGregor on multiple occasions and was even seen playing for McGregor's football team, the Black Forge, in October 2021. As Whelan now faces an uncertain future, questions arise about whether he will make good on his claims of reformation or if he will revert to his criminal past. His story serves as a stark reminder of the complex and often violent world of organised crime in Ireland, and the far-reaching consequences it has on individuals, families, and society at large. Whelan's journey from a teenage drug dealer to a high-ranking member of one of Ireland's most notorious criminal organisations illustrates the insidious nature of organised crime. It shows how early involvement in criminal activities can lead to a lifetime entrenched in the underworld, with severe personal and societal costs. The repeated interventions by law enforcement, while sometimes successful in securing convictions, seem to have had limited impact on Whelan's overall trajectory within the criminal world. This raises questions about the effectiveness of current strategies in combating organised crime, and the challenges faced by authorities in dismantling these powerful criminal networks. Whelan's story also highlights the personal toll of a life in crime. The loss of his wife and the suicide of his close associate Griffiths underscore the human cost of involvement in criminal activities. These personal tragedies, coupled with his responsibilities as a single father to 4 young children, may have contributed to his claimed desire for change. The intersection of Whelan's criminal world with the celebrity sphere, as evidenced by his connection to the McGregor family, adds another layer of complexity to his story. It demonstrates how the boundaries between the underworld and mainstream society can sometimes blur, creating unexpected and potentially problematic associations. As Whelan navigates his post-prison life, his story serves as a cautionary tale about the long-term consequences of criminal involvement and the challenges of breaking free from a deeply entrenched criminal lifestyle. Whether he will successfully reform himself or be drawn back into his old ways remains to be seen, but his story continues to captivate public interest and shine a light on the ongoing issues of organised crime in Ireland.